So hi guys, Pratik this side from NMIMS Indore, and today the podcast is all about marketing. So today we have our guest Mr. Sandeep Balani, Vice President Jio Advertisements. I welcome you sir to the campus.
Thank you, Pratik.
So to begin with, can you just, we would love to hear about your journey till this position of Vice President Jio Advertisements. So can you share a bit about that?
Sure. I think, firstly, grateful to NMIMS to invite me here. It's been an exciting journey. With a lot of transitions. I started with event management. And in my graduation, I did BSc Computer Science, never assuming that I'll be into the ad tech industry. Then I went into banking for 2 months. I always wanted to be into sales, right? And that is B2C was not something I wanted to do. So I moved on to advertisement sales into print media when DNA newspaper was getting launched in Mumbai. And that is when I really got the understanding of what I want to do. And it was B2B advertisement sales that I was interested in. I started my journey with DNA newspaper, then moved into Anand Bazar Patrika, where I was selling a section called the Telegraph Jobs. And that's where I saw, the print media was declining. The jobs advertisement in Telegraph Jobs were slowly getting down, and it was moving to Monster and Naukri. That's where I saw a trend where, things were shifting digital. And I was lucky to, understand this trend at a very early age, right? And that point in time, in 2008, it was the digital media was just 2% of the overall marketing spends, right? And print and television used to take up 47 and 48%. And that difference between 2% to today 34% is all the journey of growth that I've had, right? I had a good 5-year stint with Comly Media, and then I was fortunate to get hired by a company called Outbrain, which I started in India, and that is where my entire growth journey started. And once Outbrain got IPO'd around 2 years back, Jio reached out to me to set up their entire supply ecosystem, and that's where I saw this a great opportunity to be part of the Indian ecosystem. And Jio as a brand is known for its leverage to disrupt the market. So I was really excited to take up this opportunity, and here I am.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, sir, one thing I saw that you pivoted from print media to digital media at a very early stage where digital media was only, as you mentioned, 2%.
Right.
So the inner thought a person gets, is it a right decision?
Right.
Because as an NMIMS student, marketing professionals, operations, finance, we get a lot of jinx like we should do it or not. So your take on that, is it how to overcome that we should shift to the next?
Yeah, so as I said, I transitioned a lot of careers at the start of my journey. I started working at the age of 17 with event management. And because of my failures early, I realized what actually I wanted to do pretty early in my life, right? And that understanding about what I am as a person, like as I said, I was doing pretty well in programming in BSc Computer Science, but I still chose sales as a career. Why? Because as a person, I felt, I can't sit at one place and do coding all the time. And that's what led to, my journey towards print. And then I saw that the risk reward ratio to jump into digital was very high. Because at that point in time, digital media, as I said, was 2%. They were looking to attract talent from print media, right? Because that time print and television were the only media present. And not many people were willing to join. So they were paying pretty highly. Right, and till today, I say that digital media plays pretty well, and that journey I think gave me the leverage to growth. And I was pretty early, as I said, I was 26, and I did not want to be in a comfort zone in my life. And in my print media journey, I was like in a 9 to 6 job, reaching home at 7. My parents were pretty happy, right? But yeah, I wanted to be in that mindset where I want to grow, and that's what kind of led me to digital media. And as I said, the money was good, and it gave me a good percentage hike, and I've never looked back ever since.
Really very good to hear that. And the next question it's a public demand question. So every student, I would say, in this all over the globe have this question, specifically as it's a marketing podcast. So a bit about a guy you look into when you get into an interview or just getting into the company. What skill set you generally look into a marketing guy that his future in marketing is really good and he can add to our company? Absolutely. So what do you look about that?
So, I mean, generally, people tend to be very bookish about, how they should be during the interview. But my perspective is I look at more their personality and how they are using marketing into practical aspects of their life. Right. So, one of the things definitely I look at is their LinkedIn profile. How have they used LinkedIn to brand themselves? Right. How many connections do they have? And, what has been their journey in marketing till now? There might be just one instance or one good exposure that they had, but how they explain their learning journey out of it. What have they gained out of that organization? Now, some people might have a startup experience, some people might have a large organization experience. Every experience might be very different from each other. But what we look at in the candidate is what is their learnings out of those experiences, right? Like startups will offer a leverage of horizontal learning, while a large organization will offer a leverage of vertical learning, right? So what the student has gained out of it, how better they are able to portray that journey in the interview, and which is why I keep telling students, have a personality, market yourself well. I met a few students where they told me that they are very good guitarist and they are very good dancers. I asked them, do you have a YouTube channel of playing guitar, right? And that's the best way to market themselves. So I look at personalities where or traits where students have marketed themselves well to kind of gain into marketing, right? So most of these students, as I said today, at least in our times, there was no leverage where you can market yourself individually. But today with platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, immense, immense. Yes. So even you study today about say a particular subject, say digital marketing or SEO, you can create a video of that and create a YouTube channel out of it and see how many users are actually subscribing to it, see how the content is performing. You can do your own analysis. And that's what I think leads to a better marketing person, right? Once you understand how your YouTube channel is behaving, then you will be able to look at how the company YouTube channel should be. Right, so I look at these practical exposures and experiences that students have gone through, right? Because I believe practical learning cannot be replaced. Experimentation, because marketing is all about experimentation, right? We do something called as A/B testing in digital marketing. Okay. So where each creative needs to be tested versus other creatives. And this A/B testing is a constant process. It's not like ek baar kar liya, chhod diya, right? You will have hundreds of creatives. You will have hundreds of variations of those creatives. And you need to constantly test these creative how they are performing. So I believe this learning process of that student is what excites me about them, and it tells me more about their personalities, their journey, and that's what I look at a student when I'm hiring. So we don't look at like a bookish person just coming off and saying, okay, these are the 5 C's or 5 P's of marketing that I've learned, right? So yeah.
So you're emphasizing on the personality, his experience, yes, and how maybe you are looking at how many times he failed. Absolutely. In that particular sector. So absolutely. It's a learning, so it's not a failure. Absolutely. The students try to shy away from their basic failures, that I shouldn't show that it's absolutely. A negative aspect. Exactly. But on the other part, it shows that you are coming up with something new.
Right. Because see, today we are in a generation where things are moving really fast. Yeah. Right? We see a comparison of how Facebook reached 1 million followers in a year's time, while ChatGPT reached within 5 days, right? Yeah. So my general request to students is the difference between the previous disruptions which have happened and the disruptions which are happening now is the pace of change that we are going through. Previously, it used to take decades to disrupt a particular industry or a market. Today, it takes days. So the more easily a student adapts to changes or disrupts themselves or their learnings and relearns new learnings, I think that's what will change their perspective about things.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so will the primary reason you are here with us in NMIMS is about the session you're gonna take. Right. So I would like to request you to please give an outline of what we are having today, what you are going to talk about, sure. All about the session. Just a bit outline.
Sure. I'm going to talk about diversification of digital budgets. In the course of last 8-9 years, what has happened, data has become a very strong lever for many companies, right? Where they have started using data as a pool to run advertisement as a business, right? And in 2015, we saw that only 2 companies were dominating the overall Indian market. But in the last 8 years, we are seeing many companies like Paytm ads, Flipkart ads, Jio ads, kind of coming up the surface. And all these are large companies, all these are significantly large organizations. And Amazon Ads, which is a global DSP now. So all these companies are kind of taking up good share of the media budgets, and which is leading to diversification of spends of all the advertisers, and it is giving students like you an opportunity to kind of be part of a huge industry, which is media and advertisement and ad tech industry.
I've seen in the recent times AI, artificial intelligence, has get lot of. It's basically a glorification of a automation. Basically, what I feel. So, what is your take on AI on digital marketing? Is it a new thing in the market, or what's happening? Basically, we are just doing Chat GPT using generative AI. So we are very anxious to know that what is basically it's happened and what is the future of AI in digital marketing.
Right. So we were always fortunate that we were part of the industry which Google and Facebook automated from right the word go, right? The industry automates itself every few years, where there are different methodologies or different automations that industry brings into it, and the curse of digital also is that it's measurable. Yeah. Right. So you measure everything that you do in digital. While AI, is definitely automating, I believe this was happening in our industry way back. Like we used to call it programmatic, right? Where we used to automate everything in the industry, where we automated the entire payment process, we automated the entire release order process. So the work was going on. It's just that I believe now programmatic as a word is being replaced with generative AI or AI. However, I think there are a lot of data points that we have started using more. Like in generative AI, there is also facial recognition, eye recognition which comes in, right? So all these data points which were not initially utilized, I think more and more data points which are human interactive data points are being added, right? And still the automation process is going on, right? So as the industry is constantly growing, and as I said, we did A/B testing previously manually. Now that process is being completely automated, where the generative AI will do the A/B testing for you and tell you these are the 10 creatives which are performing the best for you. So why don't you utilize these 10 creative across different platforms? And then on these 10 creatives, maybe some platform is performing well, like say Amazon would perform well on product searches. Google will perform well on certain branding campaigns, right? Facebook will do well on social campaigns. So these creators will adapt to different strategies of different platforms, and the AI can give you a concise view of what is happening with different platforms. So I think as a marketer, you will have a lot more tools at your disposal. Definitely, I don't believe in the theory it will replace marketers. It cannot. Because the intelligence that marketeers add to the overall strategy of the user, I think that's immense, and the value that they bring psychologically or emotionally to the overall campaign cannot be replaced by an AI.
You talked about facial recognition and eye recognition. So data, you got AI into digital marketing. Digital marketing is all about the software part. The data privacy concerns, which is a major. India is looking the recent data privacy laws which was passed in the parliament. Right. So how do you look at this compared to other countries? Are we having a good data protection law, or you would say that it is sufficient enough to safeguard a person's personal identity? Right. So your take on that?
So I believe India will have to come up with definitely specific data laws which are pertaining specifically to users of India. Because honestly, while we will see other countries as developed markets, honestly, I believe digitally, India is much more evolved than any of the markets globally. I think China is the closest to us, where users are so many adopted to digital, like UPI.
It's quantum of people, and everyone is using today without UPI.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the first public infrastructure of digital which we have come up with, and I think that is really contributing well. So honestly, India will have to have its own laws which are very specific to the Indian market, and which are not kind of replicating what a US does or a Euro does or Australia does. We'll have to come up with laws which are very specific to the Indian consumer. Otherwise, we'll be just copy pasting something which is not applicable for our stores in India. And as I said, we are a generation which leapfrogs one wave. Like we are a generation which leapfrogged the malls wave, and directly went into e-commerce. We keep leapfrogging different overall generations, and we kind of are faster than other markets. And I think the Indian users, because we are used to so many challenges which we try to solve through digital. Like I said, UPI has solved so many challenges for us today, and payments has become a no-brainer for us. Like not many of us nowadays carry cash, which has become a new problem by itself.
If you ask me 2-3 years down the line, you won't be having cash.
Yeah.
I would like, what are you saying? You are
Absolutely.
I would have believed him that after 2 years, no one is carrying a wallet.
Absolutely. So I think it's a great startup idea that now you should put up spots to, UPI has now come up with an option where through UPI you can withdraw money from ATMs.
Yes.
Right. So I think which is why, this adoption where everything is getting centralized to one screen mobile, I think is beautiful. Right. And that's where, the power of data comes in, where as a user you're given power. And today I believe with UPI and RuPay credit cards, our government is giving the public infrastructure for us to kind of grow immensely in a large market. Today we are definitely the largest populated country, and we need solutions which are unique to us. So I believe in terms of privacy laws also, I would say that the laws should be very unique to India and should not replicate what maybe a Euro or a US is doing. Right, so it should be unique laws to what India problems are.
The success of UPI also might have shown you the power of Indians in the technological advancement.
Absolutely.
The shopkeeper who is selling vegetables, you have never been thought ki this guy would be apt to this particular technology, and he will first of all accept this technology.
Exactly.
The education level he has, the education level of India is growing.
Exactly.
So that may be a part which is contributing to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think post-COVID, I think everyone saw it as a need to adopt to technology and adopt to digital. It was no more a luxury, where many people in the older generation were trying to avoid being part of digital. After COVID, I don't think no one took it seriously, right? Everyone saw it as a part of their lives. And that's what has led to this phenomenal growth that we are seeing. And it has made all of our lives so easy, right? Wherever we are traveling, UPI is right now accepted. RuPay cards gives us an immense, credit through UPI. So I think that itself is growing the RuPay ecosystem pretty well. So I think all these things are contributing well to the overall growth story.
Yep. So before we wrap it up, anything would you like to say to our future managers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, many people stress too much about their first job. That shouldn't be the case. Definitely get a good job, definitely get a good break in a good company or a startup, wherever you feel your learnings are going to be in the direction that you want it to be, right? Like I said, I did BSc Computer Science, but got into sales. Be experimentative. As I said, we are so fortunate to be in one of the fastest growing economies globally today. Still the data is that we are going to grow at 6.3%, right, year on year, and that's a phenomenal growth. We are the fastest growing economy. So I don't think there will be lack of jobs. I think it will be our choices which will determine our success. So one thing I definitely speak to students about is victor versus victim mindset, right, where they need to be the victor of their destinies and their goals, and they need to define how their direction of growth should be. Another theory that I have followed personally is nothing to lose theory. Which is a psychological theory where, when you get into any situation in life or any job or any kind of situation that you have in your personal life as well, that you have nothing to lose in that situation, what you end up doing is you just gain out of it, right? And the last thing is have a digital presence for building your personal brand. So I would say be aggressive on LinkedIn. By aggressive, I don't mean add followers, right? It means build credibility, build your personal brand, build your persona. If you have a certain point of view, build on that point of view. Definitely LinkedIn is a medium which now gives you a social interactive platform with the recruiters, with the industry professionals, with the kind of hiring managers directly. And at least you can follow them and see what are the current trends going on. So I believe students should just start adding a lot of industry professionals during their college days, see what are the hiring projects that they are giving, see what is happening, rather than sitting in their campus and asking the college placement committee of what is going to happen. So I think today you have the power to take things in your hands. And which is why, you know, the victor versus victim mindset will help you immensely if you build your digital brand on LinkedIn, right? So I definitely recommend everyone to build their personal brand, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever is their capabilities best suited for.
It's basically, as per my understanding, how a person is able to market himself.
Absolutely.
Before he goes to the company working for them.
Right.
How the person will look into the LinkedIn of a profile picture, the whole profile,
Right.
and he'll get to assess that this guy
Right.
is able to market him so well that I am impressed.
Exactly.
And the very next day when he is on board,
Yeah.
he'll do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what will happen is it creates a differentiation.
Yeah.
Right? Today, I mean, we are in a hugely competing market, and that is a fact no one can take away. Right? The macroeconomic challenges are there, but you know, these kind of initiatives gives you the leverage. And the best part about digital, it is not limited to geography. Like if you're in NMIMS Indore, you're not limited to opportunities in NMIMS Indore. Right? So I think that leverage is something all students should utilize.
As a MBA second year final year student, we are glad as an NMIMS family to have Mr. Sandeep Balani on board. It was a very insightful session, and we thank you to all our viewers, and signing off. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure.